Welcome to Literary Libations with Librarians, and this time June is Great Outdoors Month, so we're going to be sharing some of our favorite books that celebrate nature and the outdoors. As we're sharing, if you want to get your hands on any of these titles, there are several ways to go about doing that. The first and probably the quickest is to simply call your local branch of the Monroe County Library System and speak to the staff there, and they will be more than happy to assist you. The second is to go straight to our online catalog where you can request physical versions of any of the titles that you see. And the third is to request digital versions, and the Monroe County Library System provides two different apps through which to do that. The first is Overdrive, and the app for Overdrive is called Libby. And Overdrive provides downloadable ebooks, audiobooks, and also magazines. And the second is Hoopla, which provides downloadable ebooks, audiobooks, and also movies, music, and graphic novels. And on Hoopla, if you see an item with that little lightning bolt that you can see on your screen now, that means that there is not a wait for that item and multiple people can have it checked out at the same time. If you don't see that, there might be a wait for it. So make sure to check out whichever way works best for you. And I am Jennifer Graneski, and I am the community librarian at the Dundee branch. And since June is Great Outdoors Month, our introductory question for this week is, what summer outdoor activity are you looking forward to? And first of all, I have to say, I am not a hot weather person. I much prefer the cooler months, but I do really enjoy summer nights when we're able to gather around we have a little campfire stove thing, a chimenea outside, and we do s'mores out there, and that's always really fun. And I always really enjoy doing sparklers. We've done sparklers for Independence Day since I was little, so I remember doing sparklers, and now we do them with my son, and I enjoy that tradition as well. So those are a couple of outdoor things that I do enjoy, even if it's hot. So also with us this week is Stephanie Winterstein, who is the Youth Services Librarian at the Ida and Summerfield Petersburg branches. And what are you looking forward to doing outside?
Well, I have a couple of things. The first thing is I like to run, but I don't really like to run in the winter when it's cold. I will find an alternate cardio activity. But my favorite thing to do is get up early in the summer. And then go find a trail, like around here in Munson. I like to run around Munson, up through some neighborhoods, always a new place to run that I haven't run before. I sweat like crazy, but it always makes me feel good. I feel like I started my day, and then the rest of the day just goes better. The other thing I'm looking forward to is we have a newer home with a patio out back, but we can never sit on it because it's so hot and wind just blows through there. So I'm very excited because we're getting a cover on it so that I can sit outside and read my books with a gentle breeze blowing, not like a gale storm wind, and just enjoy the flowers and listen to the birds. So hopefully that will be up soon, and then I can truly enjoy my little reading nook, because that's all I've been talking about is how excited I am to be able to read outside without just scorching. So that is the other thing I'm looking forward to.
Nice. Thanks, Stephanie. Also with us this week is Isabella Arnold, who is a processing clerk at our Dami Administrative Building. And what are you looking forward to doing outside?
I am looking forward to hanging out with family outside. I'm not a hot weather person either. But my parents live on the River Raisin, and they have a nice little picnic area deck down by the river. And we get out our hammocks and our lounge chairs and go and hang out down there all summer long. And I can't wait to go and relax down there. It'll be great.
And I should have mentioned that Isabella may have a special guest popping in and out with her, and that is Lehman. And so he might be in and out. So enjoy. Thanks, Isabella. Also with us this week is Kristen Brown, who is a reference librarian at the Bedford branch. And what are you looking forward to doing outside this summer, Kristen?
A little bit of what you and Stephanie said. So I am a big bonfire person. I love like kind of cooler nights where everybody's gathered around, do some s'mores. But I also love the warm weather for running. I tend to do running in the evening though as like a way to decompress. So I'm super excited that the weather's gotten a little bit warmer. Plus it's not as hot. So obviously running in the morning or the evening is probably going to be your best bet. And then also my parents have a place up north that we get everybody together and we go up there and hang out every year. And so that's just really exciting because my kids and my sister's kids get along super well and it's just awesome. So that's what I'm excited for.
Nice. Thanks, Kristen. And now we're going to go ahead and start sharing our books that celebrate the great outdoors. And I'm going to ask Isabella to go ahead and kick us off.
Well, my books, when I was looking at everybody else's books, I was like, I don't feel like mine are outdoorsy enough because they're not like nonfiction things to do outside. But both of my books, they just make me want to go outside when I read them. So the first book is The Language of the Flowers, and that came out in like 2011. And I read it right when it came out, and I felt like such an adult reading it because I was all of, I don't know, 19 when I read it. And it's so good. It's a coming of age story of a girl who was in the foster care system, and she is just trying to adult and trying to figure out her life, and all through the story is peppered through stories of flowers and how flowers can have secret meanings. In the Victorian era, the bouquets that people would present to their loved ones or family members often like were a sentence. Like certain flowers paired together could mean like, I'm so sorry this happened to you, like you're going to be all right. And other flowers partnered together could mean, I love you so much, you're doing great. Like I just found that so fascinating. And so the whole story, she ends up, working in a flower place, and she has some tragedy, she has some sadness, but I feel like it really ends kind of hopeful, and yeah, it just makes you want to go and buy flowers, number one. And then it made me Google, did I buy the right flowers at the right times in my life for the right people? Like, what was I accidentally saying to them? So yeah, it's a beautiful novel. It's just lovely flowers. And then my other book is Zen in the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, which I feel like when I tell people I read that, they must think, who are you right now? And I think I picked this up when I was just on a big Zen, Buddhist, peaceful kick. And the title intrigued me. And this is another story. It's actually a fictional autobiography. It's what it's known as, a fictional autobiography. And it's a story of a father and son that are going on a motorcycle trip. And they're going through, I believe, like the North Dakotas and all the wilderness. My camera's moving around so much. But so they're on this motorcycle trek, and they're just going through the wilderness, and I just remember him talking about the trees and the mountains and just the outdoor air, and because they spend the whole time outside camping, and just the trials and tribulations of going through nature on this pilgrimage of sorts. And that also just made me want to get outside and go and see more of what's around me. And didn't make me want to ride a motorcycle by any means, but it made me want to just sorry. He's hiding behind my laptop, just dinking it.
He thinks it's funny. You can hear him giggle. That was adorable.
But so, and it's also peppered with just lots of Zen philosophy of if you're searching for like peace and it comes knocking at your door, your heart may send it away and you'll be confused. And it's like, it's so like true. Like, if it finds you, you got to accept it. You can't just turn it away. And so, yeah, it's really, I thought it was interesting. It was very different from what I normally read in terms of like novels, because technically it is fiction. But yeah, Zen in the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance is written in the 70s, I believe. It's good.
Nice. Thanks, Isabella. And Lee. And let's have Kristen share her books about the great outdoors.
Okay, so both of my titles are pretty similar. And the first one I believe is going to be Backyard Homesteading, Back to Basics Guide to Self-Sufficiency. And then this one I checked out at the library and I ended up buying a copy for myself. So the older copy looks like this. But this book has come in handy so much. My husband and I decided that we wanted to get chickens and we wanted to put in some fruit trees. And so we've been working on that. This has been in the works for a while because I've always been like, let's do this, let's do this. And he's like, yeah, okay, when are we going to do that? When do we have time? And so now we finally have time. And so I've been referring to this book a ton. It's really great. It's broken down in really helpful ways. It talks about canning, beekeeping, keeping animals, keeping chickens, how to build a shed. So it's really just a basic guide for anybody who wants to do like small homesteading. So even if you're just looking to kind of dip your toes in and kind of see if it's something that you want to do, they have some really great suggestions in here. What I also liked is it shows you how to set up your garden through the seasons. So each season, what should you be doing for your garden? So should you be covering your garden beds at this time? Should you be putting your compost in at this time if you're interested in composting? It talks about saving seeds, which is great. And that kind of got me interested in doing the seed library at Bedford. So it's been really great. If you're interested in doing a little homesteading and getting some tips on that, I highly suggest this book. It's a great starter and especially one to keep around. So we just keep referencing it. And actually the first time I did canning last year or the year before, I had this book right next to me and it didn't really go out that great for me because I think I missed some steps, but we ended up having like instead of a strawberry preserve, we had like a strawberry syrup. It's fine.
Was good on? No,
it's fine. It tasted amazing. And then the second book that I chose is very similar, like I said, in the subject matter. It's about homesteading, but it's about a specific family. And so I think, Shay Elliott. She also has a website that has a blog. She's written lots of different books about this. But what I liked about this book was she really focuses on going back to old techniques, old way of living, and she gives you lots of great recipes in it. So she gives you recipes for, like jams and jellies, different things that you can do. Her chicken part that she has in that book, I took quite a bit of notes from that book on the chickens. And the pictures are beautiful because I am a picture person. So if I'm doing any kind of how-to book, I want to have some visuals to look at. And so hers are very like artsy. These pictures are very practical, so they both have their place and they're both really great. So if you're interested in doing some homesteading, however big or small your property is, these books are really helpful.
And homesteading stuff, like it's not for me. My fortunate husband. But Mike will watch. There's a particular one called Lumna Acres that's on YouTube, LUMNAH, I believe. And he will, they record, I don't know, once or twice a week, and he gets on and sees how their goats are doing and how their pigs are doing and the chickens, and he knows the goats' names, and then the wife is lovely because at the very end, she always shows what she's making for the meal that evening. And so she'll pull out her cans or go out to their little greenhouse and she'll be picking the herbs. And it is really lovely to watch. I'm just like, oh my goodness, I can't do that. Hey, let's have hot dogs tonight. So,
it is kind of intense.
It's yeah.
You have to find what's right for you.
What can be done,
and
they started very small, as well. And then it just kind of grew as their interest in it grew as well. So there's all sorts of resources out there for folks who are interested. Or if you just find it comforting to watch other people do it, you can do that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Kristen. And let's have Stephanie share her books about the great outdoors.
Okay, so for my family personally, the only time that we can really ever take a vacation is in the summer. With the kids in school, we didn't really pull them out with my work schedule. And then my husband's a teacher. So for us, summer is the perfect time to take a vacation. We haven't had a vacation in a couple of years, really, for obvious reasons. But one of the books that I I don't know, I'm a picture person. So this book really spoke to me because it just gives me all these ideas and all these places I want to go. So I have this bucket list of places, but it's called 50 States and 5,000 Ideas. And the pictures in it are just, they're really good. It's done by National Geographic. So National Geographic's always going to have great pictures. But for example, one of them would be like the Central Coast of California, or watching the sea otters, or the mountains. So I have these little lists of things. Okay, this would be a trip that we could take as a family. This would be a trip that we could take just the two of us. This is a girls' trip. Just lots of really, and some of them are very unique places that you can go visit in the States. If you were going to do like a road trip, some places you could stop along the way. But to me, like if I go on vacation, not that I don't want to go indoors and see things like museums. I want to be outside. I want to be exploring the city. I want to be finding places maybe a little off the wall or a little more unique. Those are the things that really make places charming. Like, oh, there was this cute little statue in this garden behind this, like, I'm weird like that. But this book just, it was pretty inspiring. So now I really want to go on vacation. We might be able to get one in the summer, so we'll see. That was my first one. The second one is about running. It's called Running Like a Girl, Notes on Learning to Run by Alexandria Hemmingsley. I actually came across this book probably, I think it was published in 2013, and I think that's when I found it. I've been running for about 10 years, and it's been a love-hate relationship. But running has done a lot of things for me, especially when I started. It was supposed to be something that I did for my health, just to kind of like 2 to 3 times a week, just to kind of keep me moving and different things. But then it became a therapy to me. It became a way to clear my head. Then it became a thing to do with some friends. So it's taken me lots of places, and I've done, I've ran things that I never thought I would run and things like that. But this is a story of a woman who started running, or in her late 20s. She drank a lot. She went out a lot. She wasn't taking good care of her health. So she started running, and it just talks about the struggles that she went through, and then how, like, when she got in a routine, like all the things that it did for her life, both physically, mentally. And so it was just, I kind of just put myself in her shoes, and I'm like, yeah, that makes more sense. And there was some good pointers in there. So I just recommend it. Even if you're not a runner, there's still a lot of good stuff in there. So check it out.
Thanks, Stephanie. Would it work for those of us who are just walkers?
I think so.
I'm a walker, not ever going to be a runner, but I'm a walker.
I don't think it matters. If you're doing something, you enjoy
that
it.
Routine, helping your health, helping your mental health.
Yes.
Thank you. And my titles, I apparently don't seem to read a lot of outdoorsy sort of books, so I did my best. The first one is actually kind of a middle grade teen graphic novel. It is called Through the Woods by Emily Carroll, and the art in it really makes this. It tells 5 different stories that all happen in the woods. And as the book itself says, things that come from the woods are strange. The picture in the upper left is the back cover of the book, and it says it came from the woods. Most strange things do. So they're fantasy, they're horror, and a lot of it is happening out in the woods. And in fairy tales, the woods are often a metaphor for change. So it's interesting. They're good stories. They're different. I wouldn't hand this to a young child because some of the illustrations are pretty creepy. But I really enjoyed it. They're good stories. It's a really quick read. Emily Carroll's art is fascinating, and she does a lot of things with these 4 basic colors that you can see there. There's white, black, red, and blue. So she does a lot with those. And I particularly enjoyed the very last line of the whole story, and this isn't giving anything away. So the young woman who is in the woods makes it home. And once she was in bed, she said, "What a fine night. What a good walk. I knew the wolf wouldn't find me." And then she hears from the shadows, "Oh, but you must travel these woods again and again. And you must be lucky to avoid the wolf every time. But the wolf only needs enough luck to find you once." The end. Good night, children. So I just thought that was a great ending, like for this creepy through the woods fairy tale, kind of anti-fairy tale book. So if you're into that sort of thing, pick it up. Probably don't read it with younger children. It is a middle grade and older sort of book.
Doesn't sound like something I want to read right before I go running on those trails.
Yeah, maybe don't do that,
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
perhaps not. Those twigs that you hear breaking when you're running those paths, you might give you pause then.
Yeah. When you have your headphones in and you're like, wait, what? What's that?
Yeah, not that time. And then my other title is actually a book that hasn't been released yet. So let me go back here for a moment. Oops, too far. And it is Amber Scher's Subpar Parks, America's most extraordinary national parks and their least impressed visitors. So Amber Scher actually has a really popular Instagram account, which I didn't know anything about. Somebody had shared one of her, I don't know what you would call it, but she's a graphic artist. And somebody had shared one of the works that she had done, and it made me laugh and laugh. And the book sounds like it's going to be much like that. It is going to be humorous, informative, and collectible. And it combines two things that seem like they might not work together, yet somehow harmonize perfectly. Beautiful illustrations and informative, amusing text celebrating each national park, paired with the one-star reviews that disappointed tourists have left on lines. Millions of visitors every year enjoy Glacier National Park, but for one visitor, it was simply too cold for me. Another saw the mind-boggling vistas of Bryce Canyon as too spiky. And never mind the person who visited the thermal pools at Yellowstone National Park and left thinking, save yourself some money and boil some water at home. I just love the sense of humor. I love that she's going to combine it with actual information about the parks. There are a few more that I shared. So you can see this is her art. This is the style that she does. It's like this great big promotional poster, but with that one-star review information. So for the Petrified Forest, basically a desert with some dead trees. And with Mount Rainier National Park, I've seen bigger mountains. I just love the deadpan humor here. Sequoia National Park, there are bugs and they will bite you on your face. Oh, good. And then finally, for Michigan and Isle Royal, no cell service, terrible Wi-Fi. Imagine that, an island in the UP. So I think it's funny. It's supposed to have 50% new material. So if you're already familiar with her Instagram account and the various posters that she's already created, it's going to have new material in there. And I just feel for those of us who are maybe not naturally outdoorsy, we can get a chuckle out of it, but hopefully still appreciate amazing nature. Like I can't imagine going to Mount Rainier and going, I've seen bigger mountains. Like, who does that? And then goes and posts it online. Who's like, wow, really disappointed. And she's got a ton of them. So if you look up Amber Scher or Subpar Parks, you can enjoy lots of them. So I'm looking forward to getting to flip through this book and chuckle. And we had actually, speaking of planning vacations, as Stephanie had talked about, we had hoped last summer that we were going to go to the Grand Canyon. Mike's never been there. And Tony's at just about the right age to be able to go and enjoy it. And So that didn't happen, but maybe next summer. And we can go, and I think her Grand Canyon one says it's a hole, a really, really big hole. Thanks, 1-star reviewer. So those are our Great Outdoors books. And thank you for everybody who shared titles with us this week. And thank you for those who listened. And next time we are actually going to be talking about books outside the United States, because all of us are starting to think about traveling again. So we're going to talk about books that are set outside the US next time. So thank you and have great weeks. Bye.
Bye.